I didn't. The finish, I didn't. I think it could have been even. I would have given you a higher score.
That's why I
But
think the match was bad.
yeah, and for me, it's like it took down what was a good match. So I won't like completely like trash a match because of I didn't like the finish. I'll dock a half a star, a quarter star, whatever. But yeah, like for the actual, like it kind of ruined the story in a way. And there's two things. Number one, that Moxley quit the way he did, quickly to a wrestling hold. After everything that these two had done to each other, he quits to a wrestling hold. And number two, and most importantly, we didn't get to hear it. And I'm
It
not
wasn't a
saying
submission match. It was an I Quit match.
it wasn't I quit match. And so there's some conjecture on whether he tapped or if he said I quit. And allegedly he said I quit. And the ref heard it, so he called the match. I don't care if the ref heard it. We needed to hear it. And so whether that is a microphone, which I'm not necessarily advocating for, and this is AEW production, they needed to be focused on Moxley while he was quitting, and we need to see him quit, hear him quit. And if it's part of the story that the Death Riders are going to be mad at Moxley and maybe even dump him from the group, as where I've seen people expecting, because he gave up too quickly and he's been pushing this whole line of bullshit for the last year that they bought into. And when the going got tough, Mox got going. Then we needed to hear it because they needed to hear it. And so I don't know if that was AEW production, if that was a choice that they made that we don't want you to see Moxley quit. I don't know what it was, but I thought it was bad. As far as like the stuff they did in the match, like again, I'm not gonna say, you know, and it was a nice surprise having Sting there, even though I thought it was kind of goofy that, you know, Darby is getting beat on by 5 people. He's got no friends, and then all of a sudden Sting shows up and he cleans out the Death Riders by himself. 67-year-old Grandpa Sting.
It would have actually made more sense to me for Sting to show up there if he had also showed up at All In.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then there would, like, because as far as I mean, I'm sure we've seen Moxley and Sting in the ring together, but there's like no real true tie to them. Like we don't know if Moxley's all of a sudden scared of Sting or for whatever reason, like why, like that thing.
I think that the idea is that Moxley said, "You have no friends, nobody cares about you," or something like that, and then the lights go out and out comes Sting.
It would have made more sense to me for Danielson to come out in that moment.
Yeah.
But Sting's the right guy. If you had created a relationship to where the one guy Moxley like respects and is like, that's the guy you need to, like, if that was in storyline, right? Darby, I've been trying to teach you this. Well, you know who knew that stuff? The guy that's retired. He knew. That's who you need to be more like. And they didn't do anything like that. So then
you know who they could have done it with? Eddie Kingston.
You could have done it with Eddie, but Eddie's you know, Eddie's in a tailgate brawl land.
Yeah, get him out of there. Like that would have worked so well if it would have, because they have that history, and that would have bumped up Eddie. And oh my god, like
so, you know, now we're truly Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
It's easy to analyze after the fact.
Sting was a great moment. I mean, you can't deny that.
It was solid. I don't know if I was like, is that supposed to be the ghost of Sting? Is it supposed to be zombie Sting? Like, was that supposed to be part of it? Like Sting from the dead? Like, what's going on here?
The drowning was silly, but I mean, I didn't think it was like people are complaining about it, and I saw Amanda Huber was going back and forth with Sarah Stock on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like dissing Sarah Stock,
and it's like it was so dumb. Like, you only had him underwater for like 9 seconds. Like, come on. It's like, it was just stupid, is what it was.
But to me, the problem with the match, it wasn't a wrestling match. It was
but it wasn't good. It wasn't supposed to be a wrestling.
It was a fetishization of how much punishment a single person could take before he breaks.
And like, he didn't break.
It was that, that's what the drama was like, how much is this guy willing to do, and how much, are we going to look away, or are we going to watch, are we going to hold our breath while he's underwater? Like, that stuff is fine. I just don't know if it's fine for pro wrestling.
I thought all that stuff you're talking about, I thought it was way worse on the All Out match than it was here. Like on this, and maybe I'm desensitized, I don't know. But for me, like I watched this match and it seemed so much more tame than that one. And I guess in retrospect, it should have been the other way around. It should have been this one was the one where it was like, what are these guys going to do? Like, because Darby didn't even barely do anything to Mox.
What
Like, he
if
beat him up with a bat, I guess.
so? How would the St. Louis, or the not St. Louis, but the Missouri Commission? I wonder if they would have done this, if they would have done it, if they would have started outside of the building. And they
Mm.
could have got gory stuff out of the way outside of the building. And then when they come into the building and they come into the ring, then it's more tame. And I wonder if they could have done it that way. But I'm with you. I'm glad that it wasn't like,
Yeah.
all of the
Maybe,
craziness. But
maybe they could have just done it in that jail that they filmed the the scene on Wednesday.
that jail beating was just as brutal, I think, is what we saw. But
Yeah.
okay, so now here's the end of it, right? So what was the setup for Moxley's an MMA fan. We know this. He watches MMA and is probably a bigger fan of actually watching MMA than he is of watching pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He understands submissions. He understands the body, what the body can take. The terrible Scorpion Deathlock tap out comes out of nowhere. Did his lower body get beaten down? Did he get?
Well, yeah, yeah.
I mean, he
With
got
the
hit. He got hit with the stick,
the bat, the
the
aluminum
bat.
bat, the aluminum bat. Yeah.
If it now, I don't want to go again. We don't need to go too gory. But if you had that cattle prod, there was water. If they could have gimmicked it that he stabbed him in the leg a couple of times before he put the scorpion on, then I'm like, okay, like that makes sense.
I thought he should have choked him out with the flag. Like maybe even hung him from the rope or something. Maybe I bet you St. Louis didn't allow that either.
Yeah,
But
probably.
like that would have been a poetic finish. Doing something with the flag. Even if he would have put the Scorpion Deathlock on him on top of the flag. Like I don't think they did that, but there's so much damn water in that ring. Like I think the flag got washed away or something. Yeah, it didn't make sense, and it was way, way, way too quick. Now I suppose if you ask Mox thinks a lot about his matches, so if you ask him, there probably is a logical reason, but the announcers need to tell that story. And
so
they didn't.
the other thing is leaning into where you think this story is going, and you could bring Gabe Kidd in, and you could.
He's dead.
Well, yeah, he is currently. They have to revive him. They have to bring him back like Zombie Sting.
Yeah.
And so if that, they could do the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins thing that they're doing right now on WWE. They could do that with Moxley and Gabe Kidd, or a version of that to set up what you're saying. But I would have liked to see what the Death Riders were doing while Mox was tapping out, because why were they not there? They were just they're just so scared of Sting, even though he was long gone.
Like some of them got beat up.
One bad shot.
Yeah, there was one. I think there was somebody that was actually like nothing happened to them. I think it might have been Pac. Everyone else was kind of cleared out.
But if you look at Pac, if the camera goes to Pac and Pac's like ready to jump in, and he's like, "Nah, Mox got this. Mox has this."
Maybe Marina's like their superpower, and as soon as Sting took her away, it was like they were all just mere mortals, and they couldn't do anything. It was like Wonder Woman's lasso.
See, but this is the part of the storytelling that I think Tony leaves way too much open to interpretation, and which is what the AEW fans will run with, because they will fill the gaps. Oh, you don't have to.
They're already making excuses, for like, oh, you didn't need to hear Mox quit. No, because he did the same thing when he quit with Hangman. He tapped right away,
and that was disappointing too. I was there. I was like, what the F? This guy's
well, not just that, is because we thought it was a last man standing.
So
we didn't realize anybody could tap.
Yeah.
Like we had no idea. I understand that people watching knew because the commentators told them, but us in the building, Texas Death. I thought that was last man standing. But
there is a thing with Moxley and him losing matches, though. You remember when he lost to MJF? It was kind of disappointing in the same way where you're like, that's it? Like
Yeah.
that's the finish? And so I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's purposeful or not, but
Is it him sabotaging the people he's putting over? I don't think so. That doesn't seem like Moxley. So maybe it's a character choice that he's making. Like and
maybe he's
again,
trying to present coward, but he's also
right.
so tough at the same time that we don't see coward.
Yeah, and part of this wasn't and honestly, this is probably part of it. Um, he put everything he had into finishing Darby, and he couldn't do it. And then when Darby finally came back, he was done. Like he was, I can't do anything more to this guy. I might as well just quit. Like if that might have been part of it in the story. So and then now I sound like the AW fans making excuses, but I mean it makes sense to me. You know
Hey,
that could
if
be it.
they explain it that way on Wednesday,
Yeah.
more power to him. I'm fine with it.
I don't think we should see Moxley for a long time. I think we will, but I don't think
Why?
we
Because
should.
his heart's broken. He feels
Well,
shame
no, just
because he was
because
surely
like
wasn't injured.
true. Yeah, but maybe yeah, maybe his punk card got pulled. No. I didn't mean that as a CM Punk joke, but
No, you
like,
meant
but
it as Big Show and the Undertaker in like 2000 WWE.
yes, yeah. I love that actually. And when Undertaker came back, and yeah, and then kind of went
Yeah,
bad downhill.
he just threw it. He's like, "That's your
Mhm.
Punk card," and Big Show got all mad.